you know that more than 70% of our planet is covered in water, and more than 80% of that remains unmapped and unexplored? So it's no surprise that there's still a lot of mysteries hidden in the deep. If you're drowning to know what some researchers were able to unearth from the depths of the ocean, you're in luck, because today we're rounding up the 10 most incredible underwater discoveries ever. What's up, Facnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Watch out for our number one pick, because that one will make you feel nostalgic. Near, far, wherever you are. Never mind. Let's dive right in. Number 10. Thonis Heracleion. Exploring sunken ancient cities has always been a favorite expedition among archaeologists, so imagine their excitement when renowned French archaeologist Franck Goudieu discovered the ruins of an ancient Egyptian city in the early 2000s. Welcome to the lost city of Thonis Heracleion, believed to be founded around 2,700 years ago and buried under sand and silt for more than 1,200 years. It was found 30 feet under the Mediterranean Sea near Alexandria in Egypt. Its legendary beginnings go way back to the early 12th century BC and is believed to have been visited by Paris and Helen of Troy before the Trojan War broke out. Heracleion was believed to be built on stilts on islands over the water until it gave way and the whole city sank. Miraculously, the team discovered artifacts and relics that were still intact. Among them is the Temple of Amuse, the god of sun and air, and a piece of the statue of Hapi, the god of fertility. Stay tuned, because our number one entry will have you saying, "I am the king of the world!" Or maybe it just makes me say that. Number 9. Yonaguni Monument. This Japanese underwater monument was accidentally discovered by a man who was just looking for a good spot to observe sharks. You see, the sea off Yonaguni in the Ryukyu Island of Japan is a popular spot for divers wanting to get a glimpse of hammerhead sharks. In 1986, a tourism director named Kihachiro Aratake came to find a good observation spot for sharks, but ended up discovering a seabed formation that looked like man-made structures. In 1992, a group of scientists headed by marine geologist Masaki Kimura further explored the pyramid-like structure, which some scholars believe to be a part of the fabled city called Mu, that sank into the ocean after a devastating earthquake. But don't get too excited yet, because other researchers claim that the monument might actually be formed by natural causes. Number 8. Atlit Yam Ruins. Off the coast of the village of Atlit in Israel, you will find the submerged ruins of the Neolithic village of Atlit Yam, which dates back between 6,900 and 6,300 BC. The historical site was so well preserved that human skeletons were found undisturbed in their graves. Animal bones littered the area, which proved that the past inhabitants have already learned to domesticate their pets. Explorers describe the site as if it was frozen in the Neolithic era when it was discovered in 1984. Underwater excavations uncovered rectangular houses and other signs of bustling agricultural activities. Remnants of piles of fish that were being prepared for trade or storage led scientists to conclude that the village was abandoned suddenly. All clues point to a volcanic collapse at the eastern flank of Mount Etna 8,500 years ago, which likely caused a 130-foot tsunami that sealed the tragic fate of the residents of Atlit Yam. Number 7. China's Lion City. Unlike most sunken cities which were victims of natural disasters, this underwater city was actually flooded intentionally. Hidden beneath the waters of China's Qingdao Lake is a collection of beautiful historical buildings that date back to the 2nd century. Built during the Eastern Han Dynasty, the regal Lion City, or Xicheng, was deliberately flooded in 1959 in order to create an artificial lake and hydroelectric power station. But not to worry, because all of the more than 300,000 residents of the Lion City were evacuated. albeit forcibly. The price we have to pay for modernization. The whole area was believed to be the size of 62 football fields, and surprisingly, underwater explorers said that the city hasn't eroded much, and the buildings, walls, and even wooden details remain intact. Archaeologists are overwhelmed by how well preserved the city is that has become a unique paradise for divers. Number 6. Underwater Stonehenge. In 2007, while scanning underneath the waters of Lake Michigan for shipwrecks, archaeologists led by Dr. Mark Hawley found something a lot more interesting: a boulder with a prehistoric carving of a mastodon, as well as a series of rocks arranged like the famous Stonehenge. The boulder, which is believed to be 9,000 years old, stood at about 4 feet high and 5 feet long. Its surface had numerous fissures, but what stood out are the carvings that looked like petroglyphs. Experts say that the area could have either been an ancient ceremonial site when it was frozen tundra, or a former meeting place for tribes as they travel for food. Who knew Americans have their own version of the Stonehenge? Sadly, the exact coordinates have not been revealed to the public for security reasons, so take a rain check on that next diving trip to Lake Michigan. Number 5. Great Blue Hole. Only a few have dared to venture deep into this massive underwater sinkhole off the coast of Belize, and it's easy to see why. Researchers say the Great Blue Hole was made due to the collapse of a cavern formed thousands of years ago and extends 125 meters into the Earth's crust. Could it be the actual gateway to hell? In 2018, a crew from Aquatica Submarines attempted to descend to the bottom of the hole in the hopes of 3D mapping the sinkhole's interior. A few meters deep, they found the usual sharks, turtles, and corals, but past the 90-meter mark, all signs of life vanished. The culprit? A thick cloud of hydrogen sulfide that's too toxic for any marine creatures to survive. At 120 meters deep, the team unexpectedly found stalactites, which scientists believe to have been formed during the last ice age 14,000 years ago. When the researchers explored the bottom of the hole, lo and behold, they encountered the remains of 2 people believed to have drowned while exploring the scary sinkhole. Number 4. Antikythera Mechanism. Did you know that the ancient Greeks developed the first computer? Proof of that mechanism was actually buried in the oceans of Greece. Discovered in 1901 by sponge divers off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera, the first known ancient analog computer now sits in the Greek National Archaeological Museum in Athens. During the ancient times, when apples were still just shiny red fruits and firewalls referred to actual walls going down in flames, the Antikythera was used for its ability to predict astronomical positions, eclipses for calendar and astrological purposes, and passing stars. It could even be used to track the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. Number 3. Train Graveyard. In 1985, archaeologists discovered a train graveyard off the coast of New Jersey, where 2 rare locomotives from the 1850s lay preserved under 90 feet of water. But what's weird about this is that there were no records of these trains being lost. Explorers believe that the engines had been lost in a storm 5 miles off the coast of Long Branch, New Jersey, as they were being transported from Boston to the mid-Atlantic. They either fell off the barge or were deliberately pushed out to prevent the ship from going down in rough seas. Though they are encrusted in 160 years worth of rust, the 2 locomotives remain remarkably well preserved. Number 2. Baltic Sea Mystery. No, this is not the Millennium Falcon. In June 2011, a Swedish diving team was exploring the northern Baltic Sea when they discovered a giant circular object with a diameter of 200 feet leaning against a pillar. While it's mostly built in stone, some conspiracy theorists believe that the object was an alien aircraft that crashed into the sea. See that long groove that looks like a skid mark? There were also alleged traces of burnt organics that suggest it had passed through something similar to the atmosphere. However, scientists from Stockholm University claim that the Baltic Sea anomaly is nothing but leftovers from the glacier movements that formed the Baltic Sea during the Ice Age. Still, it's an oddly shaped glacial deposit, don't you think? Before we go to our number one pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app settings. Number 1. Titanic. Unless you're living under a rock, who could ever forget the setting of the star-crossed lovers, Jack and Rose, in the blockbuster hit Titanic? After the Titanic sank in 1912, divers, with the help of some sophisticated underwater technology, tried desperately for years to locate the wreckage. It wasn't until 1985 when American and French explorers finally chanced upon the ship 12,000 feet underwater and 350 miles away from Newfoundland. The explorers were shocked to discover that the liner was still intact but had in fact split in half during the night of the sinking. Thousands of artifacts have been recovered and displayed at museums around the world. Titanic has become one of the most famous ships in history, depicted in numerous works in popular culture, including books, folk songs, film, exhibits, and memorials. So, which of these incredible discoveries made it to your scuba diving bucket list? Let us know in the comments section below. Take home our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf below or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? And if you want more unbelievable finds, then don't miss our ranking of the 10 luckiest discoveries that made people rich. Till then, stay curious, fact addicts, and see you in the next video.